Hello, welcome to the Reloading Podcast here on the Firearms Radio Network. Presented by Primary Arms. Bandwidth sponsored by Patriot Patch Company. PatriotPatch.co. How's everybody doing?
Doing good.
We're here.
I see that.
We even got a strange lady on the air with us. Two as a matter of fact.
Oh, yeah.
Hello, Nancy.
That strange lady right there. And the little dog.
Which way do I gotta go?
Right there. Hi, everyone. That's my wife. Hey, Ross, there's Gracie. And there's Ollie. So.
Okay.
Hello, Miss Kitty. It's nice to see you, dear.
Yeah, I think I even saw Chris Sharp was here tonight. I'm surprised he could show up.
Oh my God, the neighborhood just went south.
Yeah.
Got to get my licks in first, because I know I'm going to take a hammering from him. Yeah, exactly.
All right. So, Sharenda. It's been a while. So you get to go first on what you've been doing since you have been here. And then Paul, and then Jim, and then Nick. And by that time, I should be back. My kid's trying to sell his motorcycle, so I got to pop outside for just a sec. Sorry, the guy was supposed to be here like an hour ago.
That's all right.
All right, so I will be back. You all tell everybody what you're doing.
Well, outside of my MIA was from working required overtime at work, that we got a little short break in between now. Yay. What have I been doing? I've been reviewing a few products for Women Outdoor News. Some sponsored, some not. I just finished my second hunter's education course for the state of Kansas, because I'll be a hunter ed instructor here pretty soon. I just got to finish that process. So in the state of Kansas, even though I'm already HE certified in Missouri, for state of Kansas, you have to be for Kansas too. So it was a nice refresher this past Sunday. What else? We have a big event with the organization that I'm one of the founding members of, Wilderness. We have a Go Wild weekend. It's a women's 3-day camp at a Boy Scout camp, where we get to lose our ever freaking mind and revert back to childhood and learn how to do stuff that we haven't been exposed to, like archery, shooting, reloading. I'm going to be hosting a reloading demo class. Rappelling, fishing, kayaking, muzzle loading. I mean, the list just goes on. It's for 3 days with 60 women. We got some amazing guest speakers, some amazing swag to give away at this event. And we're getting ready to launch our Hunt Her program, which is for youth. It's kind of like a Girl Scout badge program. They get to pick a mentor, and they get to hunt several seasons and species with us. And after they do like 3 or 4, they get a badge. And blah, 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 a whole bunch of other stuff. I won't bore you and take up the time.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Sounds like a.
Can you adjust your camera a little bit so your face is more centered in the screen? Or even if it means tipping your screen up a little bit?
There we
Much
go.
better.
How's
Much
that?
better.
Sorry. I got a
Much
new
better.
lift and desk, so it's a little weird.
Thank you, ma'am.
Well, I just back from Indiana again, and I got the new 50 amp service to my room laid out, and just proceeding to get things rolling as far as getting the room going, so I can put some AC into it and some electric. So not much else for me.
Yeah, it's my turn. I haven't done a whole lot other than answering questions quite a bit. Oh, I get a lot of questions offline. Oh, not offline, but in private messages, that sort of thing. I answer quite a few questions that way through the week. But other than that, it's over to you, Nick.
Same. Haven't done a lot. Been working a lot. Had inventory last week and this week.
Yeah, but you work in a gun shop. That all counts.
It does. It does. Was busy last week. We had a couple days where we had some sales going on, so we sold quite a few guns. Also picked up some steel cased ammo with the new ban, or yeah, it's a ban / importation stuff. Picked up some steel case 7.62 by 54R for a project I want to start here soon, eventually, and just some more 223 steel case, just some stuff to put away.
Okay, we're still waiting on Mike there. And what else has been going on, everybody? Anybody got any questions that they've posted up here?
Tom Peterson put up a nice comment about the Boy Scouts. He learned to shoot in the Boy Scouts. He must be an old gentleman because Boy Scouts don't do that anymore. He thinks it's needed and it's admirable, and we agree. I'm sure all 5 of us agree.
Yeah.
I know Mike would because of this. He loves that the Appleseed program.
I think the Boy Scouts still shoot, depending upon the state you're in and the county. They still have shoots.
I didn't realize they still did.
Yep.
Missouri, they still do at least.
Yep.
Good.
Indiana does that. I'm not sure about Illinois.
I know when I was in, we did shotgun and 22 rifle.
Yep.
So, but that's been 10 plus years. So
Young pup.
A lot of us have learned that, Miss Kitty. She says her comment is, I learned firearms and explosives in the military. She was USAF, so she didn't do a lot of shooting, but explosives, I thought, well, maybe I'm wrong. Ms. Kitty, Vanessa Kitty, were you in the Army or the Air Force? Yeah, 4-H does the shooting. I learned that when I was up in Pennsylvania. A local 4-H club sponsored the children, the 4-H members, shooting both air rifles indoors and 22 rifle outdoors. That was at the local gun club where I left quite a few thousand pounds of lead. They wouldn't let me mine they wouldn't let me mine their berms before I left. Thank you, Miss Kitty. Well, I was right. It was USAF.
Okay. Well, I probably played with more explosive than most people did.
I was in yeah. Good comment, Chris, but please don't highlight that, Paul. Anyway, now you made me forget what I was going to say. Oh, I worked with a few little explosives myself when I was in the military.
I haven't even shot Tannerite yet.
You haven't shot what?
Tannerite.
I haven't even shot Tannerite yet.
Yeah, I've shot a few things that are worse than Tannerite, so don't worry. You'd be surprised what a 4-inch diameter pipe that is 3 inches thick and then filled with black powder and then a steel cap on it goes on that, and then you shoot the cap.
Oh my God.
And that was for fun?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Now you're talking about a pipe bomb. Well, you said 3 inches thick. You mean 3-inch ID?
3 inches ID. Okay. 3 inches deep.
4 inches long.
Right. Okay. And then a cap on a steel cap on it.
Yep. That'll get your attention.
Yeah.
And the reason why you shoot it from so far away is to keep the shrapnel from wrapping your ass.
Well, the biggest thing wasn't the shrapnel, it was the cap. That was the one that went.
Really?
Yes.
That makes sense
So
to me because the threads are the weakest part of that
yeah,
whole assembly.
no threads. This was just a snug. It was precision machined to fit inside the bore.
Y'all ain't right. What do you mean inside the bore? Which
Inside the
part?
bore of the pipe.
Okay. Oh, so it's more like a plug, not a cap.
Right. Wasn't threaded. You could
Okay.
just, but that piece when it went let go, it still let go and was very interesting.
Yeah, it would be. Tom Peterson's got it right. That's a reactive target, not a bomb.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, well, wow.
Neighbors from about 7-8 miles away called up and wondered if our propane tank blew up. So, but we were just trying some stuff out. That's all.
Paul just let the world know why women outlive us men. Right there with the crazy stuff we do for fun. That came straight out of that
Yep.
idiot out there in Wyoming.
Mm-hmm.
I do say that with affection and respect. You flaming nutcase.
Yeah, I remember burning the candle at both ends. So yes, guys, that's right. All the fun things we do.
Michael Dunn's comment. When my dad was younger, he was a machinist. He made a cannon that he shot golf balls over a mile, not just shoots toilet paper.
Michael, just so you know that another thing that works for that is a railroad axle, and it handles. If I remember right, it was Budweiser. No, not Budweiser. Excuse me. Yeah, it was Budweiser cans that fit perfectly in the bore.
And you've put concrete in that Budweiser can and look out when whatever comes down.
Right. But yeah, those are perfect size for making a cannon. You weld the back end, drill a hole, fold your black powder into tinfoil, stuff it down in the bottom. Take a coat hanger, stick the coat hanger to pierce the black powder. Put the can in, ram the can down, and put a cannon fuse in, and you can go from there. So, yeah, they're the perfect size. There we go. We're back.
Who's back?
Everybody.
Oh.
We're just talking about launching concrete cannons. That's all.
Sweet.
Concrete slugs out of a cannonball or cannon.
Nice.
So, sir, what did you do this weekend?
I worked.
Okay.
No, seriously.
Yeah. I worked. I kind of started planning the loads that I'm going to do for 30/30. So that's kind of where I'm at right at the moment. So I haven't found my 30/30 brass, so that's why I didn't start it yet. So
New brass?
no.
Okay.
Core lock.
All right.
All the stuff my brother shot previous.
So
Well, core lock by itself is pretty good.
Yeah, the Remington brass isn't bad, but
No, I mean the ammo, not the brass. Because that core lock, even though it's the cheapest bullet they make, it's not known for being low quality. That bullet has taken out quite a lot of venison out of the woods.
Oh, I know it has.
Of course, too, that's numbers too, but
But
still.
yeah. So yeah, so I kind of did a little bit of that. Like I said, I haven't found the brass yet, so I haven't gotten serious. But I have to pretty quick here because we got 2 months to deer season. So
Yeah, deer season is coming up fast.
yeah,
I got
2.5 months, but yeah.
Yeah, well, I got October for bow in Indiana.
Mhm.
I got. I'm thinking about going this year to Missouri and doing a Missouri hunt, and so that'll be a rifle, and it'll be I think what is it, the 15th or so, somewhere around there of November.
That sounds
I
roughly
haven't.
right, but I gotta
I
check the
haven't looked.
catalog.
I haven't looked yet.
13th, 12th, 13th, 14th, and through the 21st, what I believe. So that's that one. And as a landowner, I get 5 tags.
Nice.
So we'll try to reduce the herd somewhat.
There you go.
And I really gotta go out there and spend time redoing the food plots because they're in trouble.
Mhm.
So because it's been poor weather for food plots this year.
Yeah.
So
So bow season starts September 18th. And then gun is '20th.
okay.
We have a question from the gallery.
We have lots of questions from the gallery.
It's from Michael Dunn. He wants to know what's the best powder for 308 brass. My personal opinion is IMR 4895, Michael. A lot of development has been put into that particular combination.
It depends what you want to do with it.
Correct.
If you're hunting, I would say your IMR 4895s, your H 4895s are fine. If you're target shooting, heavier bullets, 4064, and you're using this in a bolt action gun, because I'm going to change if you go to a semi-automatic. I would go with Varget, and then and off is 2520 from AA, and that's an interesting target load for a ball powder. And on the faster end of it, 3031.
Another powder that could be used, Paul, I'm sorry if I cross over what you said, but is BLC2.
No, there's nothing wrong. BLC2 is a good powder. I
didn't know if you mentioned it or not.
No, I did not. That's it's a powder that I've used with 223 and 5.56, but I'm not a big fan of it in 308. It just but it's a good powder. But there's lots of ones. You could sit down and say, okay, 2330 would work in it. 2460, all those could work in 308. But as a hunting load, generally, I would stick in the 4895 range.
Nick, you want to weigh in on that too?
I'm 100% with whatever you guys have said. Yeah, 48.95 for hunting. 4064 for as far as like bolt gun, target stuff. I know my boss at my work, he's just got a 308 and he's going to try to pick up some 4064. He's got BLC 2 currently, so he's going to try doing some hand loads with that, see how that works for him.
Okay, and Michael's follow-up question on that same exact question is, what bullets do we like? I personally like 180 grain bullet for hunting purposes, and the brand is whatever flies best in your rifle. Paul, what do you like for hunting bullets in that load? 308.
With 308, I would suggest a 165 from Sierra or a 165 from Hornady. The Spire Point Corlock from Hornady is a really good, accurate rifle, and it's in a really good weight for the 160 for the 308. It's mostly a deer cartridge, so nothing over 170 really needs to be used. If you're going to shoot bear or something, okay, maybe you want to go up to something heavier. And if you're target shooting with 308 and you're going to use bullets lighter than 168, I got some Varget loads that are really screamers, but I don't know if I should say what they are.
Probably not.
And if I remember right, Michael? I think it's from Minnesota, so he's going to be hunting some bigger stuff up there. So
could be.
I'm picking up somebody's echo.
Yep. Yeah, I just noticed that too. Spudman76 said he uses the 155 Sonars. Has the same ballistic coefficient as the 168 Sierras. For my last deer load, 308, I was using 165, 168 grain SSTs, whatever they are. I don't remember. But I was also using 4064 powder, and that's the load that was 0.3 of an hour, 0.33 MOA at 100 yards with all 5 shots. So. But then I made up 100. Yeah, I was just going to read about that. So Kurt Rouse said hard beat the 165 grain interlock from Hornady for deer. Cheap, shoot well, kill well. SSTs also do well, as do Nosler ballistic tips, but they often eat a lot of meat. Yeah, sometimes you get some stuff coming off of those. Yeah, I've really found good luck with 4064 and that bullet I was using. Now, the thing is, it's going to depend on your rifle, your twist rate. So, more the rifle than anything. Because, I can take that load and I can put it in a different 308 and it's not very good. So, well, Charlie Foxtrot, cheers. And Charlie just popped in and he says, even guys, bourbon says I can't stay long. So, Jared Buxar wants to know, not sure if you guys have covered this yet or not, but have any of you been able to find Alliant powders? I live in Northeast Ohio and haven't been able to find them locally in over a year.
You're going to have to search for them.
I haven't seen.
You're going to have to search for them. You're going to have to go online and search.
Yeah, you're going to have to find a honey hole somewhere that's got it, or get lucky enough to catch one of the big boys when they get it in. I know Powder Valley, Midway, and Graf's have all gotten Alliant because I've seen postings. Hey, they've got Alliant powder, go there.
And they're gone.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, it's been that way for a lot of powders. I mean, we can't find I can't find a large enough quantity of one powder that I'm happy to buy at this point.
No, I mean, trying to find anything bigger than a pound is really hard. And even so, we've been getting a bunch of Horton or Hodgdon stuff in. We actually got some super performance, so that was interesting. And it was actually the same lot, but so
Paul, you want to highlight Benjamin Ledbetter's question for Sharonda?
got it. And then there we go. Hey, Sharonda, wake up. Sharonda. You have to unmute yourself before you talk.
I knew that. New computer. Who this?
Uh-huh.
Yes, we do.
So Benjamin Letterbrother wants to know, Sharonda, do you ladies quail or pheasant hunt where the ladies can bring their own dog? My wife's getting her first gun dog, and we're in North Arkansas and mostly hunting misery.
Yes, dogs are welcome on the quail or pheasant hunts if they are well behaved and can hunt with other dogs without issues.
Yep. So there we go.
And if you let us love on them.
I think that's required.
Yeah.
So Lead Bullet Junkie said he's been looking for power pistol for about 2 years now. I got lucky and traded 50 pounds of lead for 2 pounds of power pistol to get me by till I found a 4-pound jug. And then we have Thomas Peterson, who is the spoiled brat of the group. He's gotten 8 pounds of H110, 8 pounds of Shooter's World Precision, and 8 pounds of Auto Comp recently. So,
and he picked up some brass from Starline.
Yep.
500 new pieces of Starline 308 cases. Large or small primers?
Guy like that, you want to wish small primers on him.
Yeah.
Nick McBride wants to know, have any of you folks seen Burger 185 jugs for sale this past year? I've not found any in a while. Is Burger the one that was owned by Remington?
No, Burger is owned by Norma. Not Norma.
Barnes.
Barnes is
Barnes.
Okay.
I think didn't Sierra buy Barnes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought.
But
Yeah.
that would have explained that. So
Lapua. Burger and Lapua are together.
Yep.
And I don't know about you, but I mean, Lapua cases are still around like crazy. So there's not a problem with that. Burger bullets have been tough to come by, but people have been shooting them a lot. So, I mean, we just had the F Nationals in Indiana, and and that's pretty much all everybody shoots are burgers.
Yep.
So, and you're talking those guys were shooting 600 rounds a piece if they went through the course.
Yeah.
So they're out there. It's just you have to hunt.
Yep. So Kurt was saying, don't mean to sound like I'm crying, but here in Canada, we get U.S. table scraps where components are concerned. Powder is creeping north to 75 pounds. $75 a pound if you can find it. No, I mean, that's the way it is. Listening to Ed and Rob talk about the stuff in Australia, and that's just obscene. So,
well, the other day, somebody said somebody had powder $48.95, IMR $48.95, $285 for a 8-pound jug. Okay, so
unreal.
You know, that was $190 before. You know, at its normal price. So, And then you still have to pay hazmat on that.
Yep. Chris Sharp said I won't take a picture of my powder area. I'm sure I'd be rated by members of this podcast.
Yeah.
Maybe.
We don't have to raid you. All we have to do is call your wife up, Chris.
That's right. A bit nuts said Lapua are available because they cost the same as his college tuition. Valid point. So, Jorgen tossing out a bone for Kurt Rouse. He says, check out Dominion powders from Canada Ammo. So, under 30 a pound.
There you go.
So, and a bit nuts made a wisecrack about the exchange rate between Canadian and American money, which is always fun. All right, gang. So the topic for tonight, 3 tools that you think are important in your reloading. Paul, why don't you start off?
All right. I would start off with the first thing that I require is a blade micrometer. It's for me to check my pressures and to check my loads and to maintain safety in my reloading and my hand loading, because I definitely push the limits of the bullet, the barrel, the brass, and the primer. And the brass needs to be checked. The second thing is a tubing micrometer. I use that so I can turn my neck, so I prevent things like donuts. I get an even release in my barrels and my loads, and it's just me going down the rabbit hole with that. And the last thing is an adjustable case gauge. Wilson makes them, and RCBS make them, and I use those so I know exactly where I'm at with my sizing and my case prep. So those are the 3 items that are really tools that I definitely need, for my hand loading.
Thank you for going into detail about that last item, Paul, because I was going to ask you to. Anyway, my choice of 3 tools that I think I have to reload. Number 1 would be a reloading press of some kind or another. That's rather obvious to anybody that reloads, except those purists that prefer to use the lead loader junior. And I say more power to you.
No, it's not the Lee Loader Jr. That's a shot shell press.
Lead load all. Sorry. Yep. Lead load all. There's nothing wrong with that tool. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that tool. In fact, that tool has been known to hold the world's bench press record for a while in the caliber 222. And my second choice would be for a case trimmer. I like my Forster trimmer as far as it goes.
Okay.
And I can turn brass. I have made tools for it where I can not deburr. I can clean my primer pockets if I want to with that tool. I've made a carbide scraper, both large and small, but it's squared off. It's not. It's squared off at about a 45-degree angle, maybe 60-degree angle. But it goes inside the primer pocket, and it doesn't wear out like a high-speed steel tool will do. I couldn't reload without my Forster trimmer. And my third item that I like is let me get it right, my Hornady concentricity gauge. And I use that for adjusting and truing up my loads. Yes, admittedly, I need to take and be sure I load it up correctly the first time. That way I don't have to take and do anything more than check my ammunition. I will say this, I kind of brag, I've never found a round more than 4 thousandths out of true concentricity. Nick, I believe you were next.
Yep.
So 3 that I like. The first one is the any standstill media tumbler, the wet media tumblers. That's something recent we've gotten. I've started to love it a lot more since we gotten it, and especially that it's coming handy. For instance, the martini brass, it gets very, very, very dirty, and you do a couple washes with that, and it looks like brand new brass. I think it makes brass look better, and also it's you're not. I've seen with some of the corncob media tumblers, it can scratch up some of the cases if you don't keep your media clean and tumble or polish in there. So that can it helps out using the stainless steel in the long run. Brass lasts a little bit longer. Second one I like is the Connect bullet puller. Always comes in handy. That especially in the milsurp world, sometimes I'm pulling milsurp cases. I don't do a lot of it with the Connect bullet puller anymore. I use a kind of over the top Hornady bullet puller, but sometimes if I'm loading a load, everybody's had it happen where they either accidentally double charged it, thought they double charged it, or just to be safe, they want to pull a bullet. That's always a helpful and very handy tool to have. And the third one I like to have is for instance, the Lyman Case Prep Express Center. I know Jim covered the trimmer. A lot of people like to use a little hand chamfer deburring tool. We like to have the Case Prep Express Center because we can have both our chamfer deburring, and we're doing like stuff with military primer pockets. I can clean up the primer pocket with the military crimp remover, and I can do about everything I need to do all on that center to be able to get my brass ready for loading.
So my 3, because I load a lot more rifle than I do handgun for the most part. Powder Trickler. I've found it absolutely invaluable to have a powder trickler, especially when I didn't have the fancy powder dispenser. When it was all by hand, having that powder trickler is huge to not have to scoop powder back out and try and guess. The second thing, because I don't have a lot of extra space, is interchangeable press mounts. So on my new bench, both of the mounts are changeable. It's not the press mounted directly to the bench. I have the Lee mount over here on the right, and then I have the Lyman Universal here on the left. And then actually over my shoulder, I've got the Lee tripod with another Lee universal mount set up. So I have the ability to change presses in and out, so I'm not stuck with just one press or having a whole bunch of them lined up and stuff, like taking it, so I've got my single stage here, I've got the 550 here, I've got the Lee Loadmaster behind me set up for 40. Yes, I shoot 40. No, I don't care what your opinion is on it. So shut up about 40 short and weak. And then obviously, as I get time, I switch them out and do other stuff for different things for the podcast and stuff. So inline fabrication is an amazing one. And I just haven't gotten a chance to save the money to get it, because every time I start saving the money, I either find a firearm or something else that I want to buy. So Benjamin Ledbetter just said I drill them all into the bench. I'm too poor for stands. The Leaf kit's like $40. The Lyman was $50. So it's not much money, and allows you to change them out. So, but what Paul's talking about doing with his is going to be a T-channel, so he won't need the adjustable like this. And then the third thing that I just absolutely found incredibly valuable is funnels. So this is the Lyman set that Travis sent me. I've got a few other funnels around here, including like a couple of just cheap kitchen ones that I've picked up that work, that have just the right size. So it's just huge to limit your amount of powder spillage, to have funnels to be able to pour powder right. So what? What's funny?
Along the lines of a little follow-up I came up with by myself with trickling powder, Mike, is you can actually fill up let's just say, for example, a 300 Win Mag case, and you can actually hold that case sideways and trickle that way.
Yes,
Just
you can.
rolling your finger, just by rolling it between your fingers. I did that before I even had a trickler. I made my own trickler.
So what he's talking about is you take the case and then you just go like this.
Yep, slow and easy.
Yep. So.
And the powder funnels are metal.
Yeah.
Plastic has a problem with static electricity.
Yep.
So, and I had one back here as far as a question on my adjustable
case
gauge. Yes, it does. It also gives me the overall length of the case, so it does do other things than that. So yes, there's more to it than that, than just the shoulder, but it gives me a hard shoulder number, and they're fairly cheap. I mean, if you look at it, they're not as cheap as going with bump gauge from Sinclair, but the Wilson is probably the most accurate one that I can come up with, because calipers are not what I consider the most accurate. Yeah.
Sharenda? Oh, I'm sorry, Paul. You weren't.
No, go ahead. I was just saying, go ahead.
Sharenda, it's your turn now.
Now that I think my caffeine is kicking in, I actually changed my answers. I'm going to have to say the 3 things that I cannot live without is my ultrasonic brass cleaner, my dehydrator that I dry my cases in, and I'm going to go with my ammo storage cases so I can keep them organized and know what I'm grabbing at a glance. Those would have to be my 3 favorites.
A bit nuts. He can't read a micrometer.
A bit nuts. I have a suggestion for you. YouTube. YouTube will teach you how to read that micrometer.
I think it was it Eric Cortina or Shooting in the Wind just had a thing on reading a micrometer. And if you can't read a micrometer, you can get one from iGaging, and that will be digital, because you get as old as me. My eyes don't work so well. Hey,
Actually, I think he's kind of joking, because his next comment was 0.2 of 1,000 comes out to $614 Canadian.
Yeah. So
I think he's making a bit of a joke when he says he can't read a mic.
So
you can't read a micrometer. I'm sorry.
So GGW Reloading said he misses Travis. I said we all do. And then Lead Bullet Junkie says, where's Travis? Travis is in the last week of cleaning out all the lead from his range. So that's been a side task that he's been doing for a few weeks. And as a bonus, he gets to keep the lead. So, so that's what he's been up doing.
Well, Travis also got a new job, Chris.
So,
Yeah.
So, yeah. But he did tell me his three, and his three are calipers, a scale of some kind, and
Those are good answers.
Yep. So, yeah, so Jason did not have an answer. I asked him, but he's in Idaho, so I think his brain froze. He's not used to that more moderate temperature. So.
Wait until he gets into sub-zero.
So a bit nuts wants to know: does anybody still use a mechanical scale to check the digital scale? Yes.
No. Check weights are so much easier.
Right.
And certified check weights are your best bet.
Yeah. Anybody else want to answer that question?
What question's that? Oh, I don't even own a digital scale. I use my check weight all the time for checking my scale, my analog scale, my beam scale.
Yep.
I'm with Paul. On our digital scale, we just use check weights to check if it's in balance.
That's the only way that I've ever learned how to check it. So.
Well, what's that with a check weight?
Yep.
Well, I have a 1010, so I got a 500 grain check weight or 250 grain check weight with the scale.
Okay. What about when you want to check a load?
I use my 1010.
Yeah, but you want to check that load. In other words, if you're loading 23.7 grains, how do you go check a load?
I don't. I know what you're saying. I do not have a counter check.
Okay, you don't have a set of check weights that would measure out the 23.7 grains.
I just have the 250 grain check weight, the brass check weight that came with the scale.
Right. So what I'm saying is I have check weights that I can sit down and say, this is a 40.3 grain, 40.3 grains, or this is a 60 grain load or whatever. I can put those weights on and to check that my scale is going to read what I have. Okay. In other words, I know it's going to read that.
Now, Paul, did you get any specific brand of check weights? Or did you just...
I went online at a scale place to buy a set of certified weights. Okay. There's a lot of places you can go to and buy certified grain weights and gram weights. So I think I spent about $75, and they are class A. All right. If you want top of the line, if I remember correctly, class F is top of the line, and Vanessa Kitty will probably know more about the certified weights in that, but that's what I kind of remember. And class F gets pretty expensive.
Let me ask you this, Paul, about your check weights. How do you actually handle them? Do you handle them by hand or do you use a pair of tweezers?
Pair of tweezers.
Very good.
Pair of tweezers.
Why is that, Mike? I'm sorry. Why is that, Nick? Why does he handle his check weights with tweezers rather than with his fingers?
I don't know the exact reason. I always knew because the check weights we bought came with the tweezers. So instead of getting your finger oily hands all over it, it came with the tweezers. Use them.
That's exactly the right answer because your fingers can add a certain amount of weight to everything you touch because the oil in your fingers.
Tweezers are cheap. I mean, you can go on Amazon and get a set for $5. I mean, and the other thing is that in any environment, your weights are going to get contaminated after a while. Learn to clean them.
Yep.
Denatured alcohol again, guys. I'm sorry.
No, you're not. And you shouldn't be. So obviously a couple things that should go without saying. Common sense.
That was Sharenda's first comment.
And good lighting. So,
common sense. I'm not sure. This might be kind of lacking among his crew.
Common sense is not so common anymore.
Yeah.
It depends on what I'm doing. There's situations where it's okay to let go of common sense and just go with it. Not saying reloading is one of those, but
no. So.
All right, Spudman.
Tell me something, Paul. How do you clean your check weights? Literally, just describe the process.
How do I clean my check weights?
Yes, sir, please.
Take my check weights. I will put them in a small glass jar with a lid in them. Add denatured alcohol to it, and then put them in my ultrasonic cleaner that's filled with water, and run that for 5 minutes. And then I will take a pair of tweezers, take them out, and lay them onto a piece of lint-free paper. Usually bonded paper, it works best. Lay them on that. They will dry almost immediately, and then I can put them back into the case that they come in.
Thank you.
So a bit nuts the reason for cleaning them. Take something, set it on your bench for a while, like a week or two, and then come back and pick it up. See if it's completely clean. If you think it's clean, put it under a microscope. You'll find out it's not. Those check weights, every time you open that case, collect dust. Every time you pull them out and put them somewhere, they collect dust. So it's a continuing thing, and then you have to clean that to get that off. Not to mention the various other contaminants that they can pick up easily. So,
well, the first contaminant that comes to mind is the finger oil, the oil from your hands. And then, of course, the dust accumulates on that oil, and then the weight of the check weight goes up.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good idea, Paul, about buying a set of check weights that you can use to combine and create various loads.
Sure.
Where do you go about getting something like that?
You go online to the places that sell scales, or just type in check weights. And they'll give you all kinds of places. Don't go to the first place you get, though. You gotta hunt around a little bit, otherwise you get stabbed in the pocketbook. But yeah, you want check weights to sit down to check your load. I mean, that's what a check weight is for. And the more accurate your scale is, the more accurate you want your weights to be. But Class A is plenty good. And then pick your weights out that you feel that you need. You can order a set, go through individually and order what you want. Just stay away from the higher classes and you'll be fine.
So I'm on certifiedscale.com right now, and their first listing is a weight set 1 kilogram to 1 gram ASTM 6. There's $488 for the set. So,
well, that's 1 kilogram though. You're talking,
you're not going to ever need anything that high.
No.
Not unless you start loading for 155 mics.
Yeah.
I mean, there's different Central Carolina scale companies, another one that's out there. You just got to kind of look. Honestly, I just put certified calibration weights or certified check weights in the Google Foo. So. So it's fun to look at the chat and see what some of the people are adding on their thoughts for their 3 items. So if you get a chance to watch, then do that way. John's hand loading says you can get a decent set of check weights for 50 or less. Yeah, absolutely. You got to look around it. Otherwise, Lyman makes a set too.
Miss Kitty, we're going to put that 2.2 pounds under the 50 caliber ear gauge splitting Loudon Boomer 22 caliber.
No. Although I did figure out a TikTok or a YouTube channel that I could make and just rake in money, just blowing stuff up. But I don't have any land, so that kind of prohibits that. I was talking to the wife about it last night. I was talking about all the stuff that either has gone into the fire pit or has gotten sawzalled to fit inside the garbage dumpster to get taken out. And I'm like, now just think if I got blown that all up. We got a lazy boy recliner. We did that too. Just think how much fun that would be.
I'm at certified check weights right now, and certified scale. Excuse me.
Yeah.
A 2 grain ASTM 5 class 5 non-accredited is $21 and accredited is $56. So 5 is still pretty high up there as far as how accurate they are. And it's a Rice Lake weighing 2 grain NIST class F, without the certificate. That's class F. Class A is cheaper, guys. So that's what I was trying to say. You can, a 20 grain is $27. No accreditation. 10 grain is 21. But you can get everything from a half a grain, 1 grain, 2 grains on up. So just what you're looking at, and like I say, hunt around. That's the first place that I looked that just came up on Google search.
Whoa. I will look into that, Paul.
I'm on Fisher Scientific. You don't want to go there. All right?
No. Without even going there, I've been to Fisher Scientific site. No.
Yeah, I know. No, you don't want to go there. So.
And the non-certified are just as accurate as the certified, except that you don't get the paperwork to prove that they're just as accurate.
Correct.
Yeah. The only thing that I get that's certified is my gauges for checking my micrometers. Okay, those are the only thing I get that are certified. So if you get a 1-inch gauge, you want it certified, and that way you can know that your micrometer is reading correctly.
And like Michael Dunn said, Amazon has check weights too. Lyman makes one, so
Yeah, RCBS makes them, and that it just depends upon what you're looking for. That's all.
yep.
That's only for the guys in Wyoming, Chris. He
Sharps.
suggests that we buy everything from Harbor Freight. If Harbor Freight doesn't carry it, you don't need it.
That's what they say about Fleet Farm around here. Or no, that's Farm and Fleet. But see, Farm and Fleet doesn't carry guns, so that's automatically null and void. Same reason why Chris's is null and void, because Harbor Freight doesn't carry guns. So, anyway.
Okay.
I was looking at Vanessa's comment. She said, I should teach math on my YouTube channel, but I do it often while not in my YouTube channel. So, yeah, I don't think that'd go well. But. Exactly. Now, Jorgen, so they're talking about, there are a couple of them are wanting to start doing their own videos, and one of them was like, well, I don't know if people want to look at it. So Jorgen said it perfect. I said, Tom Peterson, look at all of us watching this podcast right now. I'm sure you ain't much worse than these fellers. True. Very true. So, oh my goodness. So, anybody else think of anything that, obviously reloading manuals kind of go without saying, I would hope.
Yeah, the recipe books, you got to have those.
Whether it's paper or digital or, per load or whatever, it doesn't matter. You got to have that recipe. So,
and don't trust everything that's on the internet.
No.
Yeah, exactly. Too many people would believe that if it's published on the internet on the Hodgins site or the Lyman site or RCBS site, they want to go with the recipe on. No. You can do that. You can double check it, cross reference it, whatever, but don't trust one source. When I'm reloading, I'm coming up with what I call experimental loads. Sometimes I'll go to 5 or even 7 reloading manuals. Try to get an average max, average min. Start working from in between there.
That's very subjective, though. I mean,
I agree.
Because if I'm using a Sierra book and I go to Hornady and a Sierra bullet, and I go to Hornady and I got a whole different bullet there. So I'm not looking to sit there. I'm going to go with the Sierra book on a Sierra bullet, a Hornady on a Hornady bullet. I may use Hodgins website or Alliant or whatever to get an idea of what I'm dealing with if I can't get a load that's in one of my hard books. But I do like the Sierra tablet and app. It works well for me because I use a lot of Sierra bullets. So Burger, I go to when I was shooting Burger bullets, I'm going to use theirs. But if I'm trying to compare two, and you're talking two different bullets, it don't work. And yeah,
forgive me again. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I thought you were done. What I was talking about was cast bullets, handgun bullets.
Okay.
And even the Lyman book, stuff like that. Because depending upon how you want to load your stuff up, you could treat your cast bullet like it was a jacketed bullet. If you really want to get it good and hot.
Well,
Usually,
it's
yeah.
safety. It's safety that we're looking at first, right?
Well, yes, of course, there's safety.
Okay.
But what I'm talking about is I can drive a 158 grain cast bullet, one of my cast bullets that I have hardened up properly. I can drive that just as fast as I can a 158 grain jacketed hollow point bullet,
Okay.
whichever brand it might be. That's why I go to 5 or 6 different books or 7 books, or whatever, to check the load for that particular bullet weight, not that particular bullet. Because I remember I'm a bullet caster and I've cast quite a few thousand
So
pounds of it.
bullet shape doesn't affect.
Oh
your-
no. I didn't say
Okay.
that.
Well,
No.
that could be interpreted that way. I mean, it's just what
I
what
agree.
I'm.
I am purposely ignoring the ogive of the bullet or the bullet shape. That is a very, very. If you're doing it with rifle bullets, you're playing with fire.
Right, and the same thing with pistol bullets. I mean, I could sit down and say, all right, I'm going to shoot a 148 grain cast lead bullet. Well, okay, in 357. Well, I could get a 357 semi wad cutter, or I can get a 357 148 grain full wad cutter, and you ain't going to shoot the same out of the same. We got a little problem there on that one.
I agree, but the thing is, as far as the shape of the bullet goes, I'm shooting a semi wad cutter, for example, and a jacket hollow point. They're not quite the same shape.
No,
But the driving band, the shank is what Paul's referring to, the bearing area, as opposed to the bearing area that you may have, the bearing surface. I'm sorry, bearing surface on the shank of a semi wad cutter, cast semi wad cutter. It may be longer than a hollow point,
or it may be shorter,
or it may be shorter.
depending
Or
upon
it could
the
be
nose of the
less
bullet.
too. It would probably will be less because of the lube grooves and the driving bands, and so on and so forth. Less bearing surface. Now, like with the Lee tumble lube bullet, the main driving band is at the bottom of the bullet. It's a bevel-based bullet, but it's a bit fat. That bullet actually mics out at averaging about 360 thousandths. About 3 thousandths over the nominal diameter of the 357 38 special calibers.
And why is that?
Because it's only 93 thousandths wide. It's a driving band, not
Okay.
a lube groove.
Okay. So,
Okay, but you get that straight shank Sierra bullet, straight shank Sierra bullet. Sorry, you're going to have a bit more of a straight wall of shank, but above the cannelure, you're probably going to have more of an ogive, depending upon the soft point, hollow point, that sort of thing.
I'm just trying to get, I understand with casting bullets, usually a lead bullet is going to be
A bit softer,
quote softer than a copper bullet.
Yes.
So we'll deal with that. That's fine. And I know you have done this, but you've taken a fired bullet and you've measured it after you've shot it, before and after, so
Absolutely.
you know how much that it compresses.
Mm-hmm.
Where usually a copper a copper jacketed bullet won't do that. So we're sitting there looking at, you have two things going on here. You have one, the bullet entering the barrel itself, the forcing cone, and then going down and shortening as it kind of hesitates. Let's call it that. as it ballistically going through the barrel, it kind of hesitates as it reaches that forcing cone, and it collapses slightly and then goes through the bore.
There's a bit of restriction at the beginning of the forcing cone.
Right.
Absolutely. And yes, the bullet actually starts to shrink a little bit because the nose of the bullet has to be accelerated, but it takes time to move all that at one. It doesn't move all at one time. It's a gradual process. But then, of course, too, once it gets into the rifling, it stretches back out a little bit because of the compression of the rifling.
Mm-hmm.
But no, because I'm taking advantage of the fact that I tend to take advantage of the fact that the lead bullet, shall we say, it's not pure lead. It's an alloy bullet, but it's quite a bit softer than the copper jacket material would be. I tend to take advantage of that fact. Oh, and Michael Dunn asked me a question. He asked me if I size my cast bullets. Michael, I used to have a Lyman 450 bullet lubricator sizer. I used to use that quite a bit, and I hated that thing. It just every time you put a bullet in, give this little squeak, give a little shift on the lube handle, and I just got tired of that mess, which is one of the reasons why I decided to get into liquid A-locks. Secondly is I have no idea. No, I've never seen that. I didn't even know such a thing existed. Let me finish my answer to Michael Dunn. Basically, Michael, the answer is I fire my bullets exactly as they are cast, and that would include the 44 caliber bullets, the 429, excuse me, the Lyman copy or style of the interpretation of the Keith bullet, the famous 429, 421 bullet. And that's how I found out about the tumble loop bullets having the driving band on the base end of it, whether it's 45 caliber, 40 caliber, 9mm, or 357 caliber. It has a driving band on the bottom on the base end of the bullet, along with a bevel base. Makes it a little bit easier to load up too. But I'll tell you what, I will answer what I watched. What? That's his name. He asked me if I've ever seen bullets slump if it was too soft. I know I've never seen that. I'm not sure exactly what it would look like, but I have seen the results of using soft bullets and driving them too hard. And I don't talk about that too much because I get tired of cleaning that crap out of my barrel. Paul, you know cast bullets, do you?
I used to.
You used to?
I used to shoot a 160 grain 38 Super, and I used to shoot a buckets full of H&G 68 and 45.
H&G number 68.
And I mean buckets full. Okay.
I believe you.
And 38 Super was just about the same way. That was a practice load for comp gun, and it was a stiff recoiling load to practice with. Yep. And then moved to a 135 grain jacketed bullet to shoot in competition.
That is exactly where I believe my fundamental belief in my handgun ammo, my reloads, is I try to cast them as strong and hot as I can with still keeping them safe. That way, when I carry my defense ammo, which is factory ammo, it's much milder than my practice ammo. So that I'm not, I don't have any surprises. And Paul Loud, I agree with your comment quite a bit. He was so glad when he changed from the RCBS LAM2. I think he's talking about lubricator sizer to the Magma Star lube sizer. It sounds like something automated. I see it, Mike. It sounds like something that's a little bit more automated, where you might just feed the bullets in or whatever.
Star sizer is the end all of all sizers. Okay, it's yes, it is fully automatic, and you can just run with it. So
Good deal. Good deal. Okay, I watched what comment at 9:21 p.m. His comment is, Jim, I have recovered some 6.5 millimeter that show rifling marks on the side of the nose. I had to go to a harder alloy to get it to quit. That's interesting. I had assumed because I had assumed in the rifle caliber that he meant he was using jacketed bullets. No, obviously not. Obviously not. Well, that's a question for you, Paul. The Magma Star, does it handle the bullet nose up, nose down, or does it turn them all one way?
if I remember right, it handles them one way. But it is Paul Loud. It is a push through design, so it's fast. That's all. It isn't setting a bullet, pulling a handle, coming up, setting it aside, putting another one. Okay, so and it automatically will. A lot of the professional casters use them because of being able to set them up, collate them, go through and heat up the lube and lube the bullet at the same time.
Well, Paul's next comment is he says it's not automatic, but he can apply air pressure to the lube, so it automatically squirts into the lube groove at the bottom of the stroke. Good man.
They do make fully automatic one.
I believe you.
Yeah.
I believe you. I'm not saying that at all. I'm reading Paul's comment literally for word.
Yeah, for black powder cartridge loading, yes, the soft lube really works well. Softer the better, almost. But it's been a while since I've loaded any that way. Back to that 160 grain. He's getting rifling marks on the sides of the nose. I wonder how long he's seating the bullets out. Just wonder.
The Lube Master is the one that's the auto.
Okay.
So you could really spend a lot of money at Magma Engineering in a hurry. So he said it's a 6.5 Grendel and a Thompson Center.
Okay. So. But with a 160 grain bullet, cast bullet.
Yeah. IWW, have you mic'd the bullet nose? Is it a bore riding bullet? Oh, there's your part of your answer, Paul.
Yeah. That's why he's getting the marks on the rifling, because his bullet's a little soft, and as it goes in, it's not completely aligned as he's going to get it all the way up, and he's getting marks that way.
He said it's 125 grain NOE, and then the bullet's 2 thousandths under.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, if he's seating it out long, then yes, he's going to have bullets touching.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't worry too much about it unless you're having some problems.
If you're having leading issues.
Yeah.
Or accuracy issues. It's for an IHMSA pistol for unlimited class. That makes sense.
He's a silhouette shooter.
Yep.
And he's shooting a cast bullets for unlimited in 6mm. Excuse me, 6.5.
Yeah. Thompson Center Contender, probably. Or
Yeah.
Thompson Center Encore, whichever. IMSA, International Handgun Metallic Silhouette Association. Okay.
10-inch grips at 200 meters.
Is that offhand or is that rested?
I guess it'd be offhand. If
Well,
it's rested.
If he's an unlimited class, that means it's rested. That
Really?
means, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so 10-inch grip at 200 yards or 200 meters isn't that good then?
Well, you see, he's on an unlimited. That would.
Oh, wait a minute. He's shooting out a pistol, not rifle. Never mind.
Yeah.
I retract that statement.
He can Creedmoor the pistol, which would be laying down.
Yep.
With his knee up, his pistol rested against his thigh, and his other hand would be behind his head, holding his head up so he can see the sights.
Yep. He called it the dead frog position.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's it's the original Creedmoor position.
Yep.
If you look at the original Creedmoor, they would take and rest the rifle against their thigh, lay down, on their back,
Yep.
and look through their sights, and the sights would be mounted up on the comb of the gun, and you're talking a long sight radius, and laying down. Interesting position to shoot from.
Yeah.
Question about Lyman 525 cast slugs. Has anyone heard of them loading them upside down in the wad with a screw in it? No.
In one of Leon's groups, I've seen a little bit about that. Buck and slug reloaders on either Facebook or MeWe it was. I saw something about that a while back. Michael, you have to check on that. But I don't remember exactly what the deal was with it, and if it was for sure a 525, or if it was one of the Russians. So
we had a gentleman from Georgia did a lot of slug shooting on the show here recently, probably a couple years ago now. You know what I'm talking about? He was just out of the military, Mike. When we maybe 5 to 10 years out of the military, young man.
Well, the one I'm talking about is Leon Guthrie. He was just about 6 months ago.
On the show?
Yeah.
You sure about the time frame?
Yep.
Okay.
So, but he's in Tejas, not in Georgia.
Oh, he's okay. Well, maybe I got the place wrong. No, I'm not thinking of Chico Wise. Chico's good people, but no, he's not the one I was thinking of. Well, what would you do with this contraption like that?
Oh, I guess it was 10 months ago. Jorgen said. So, last November. So, I don't know what the point of it was. I just remember seeing it on there. So, I think he said he saw it on there too. So,
Okay.
Paul Loud's telling you, Nelson, that Brownells had some 8-pound jugs of 48.95.
No, I didn't buy any of them. They wanted, like I say, $300 for them. So,
Mm-hmm.
and I sit with H. That's my go-to for 308, and a lot of 223.
Yeah. So. But. Well, I think that about wraps it up for tonight. Primary Arms carries a lot of things. They do not carry check weights for checking your scales, though. I did look and see if they had anything on there, and they don't. They do have a lot of AR parts if you're looking for building that. They've also got some kits for some other firearms. I think some AKs. They've got some handgun kits. All sorts of fun stuff. They've got some ammo in stock. Slowly but surely. A lot of different stuff if you're looking for concealed carry options. Go check them out. So, and then we've got Patriot Patch Company's Patch of the Month, and this one's a fun one. So, for the last few years, August's theme has been boating accidents for firearms or summer fun stuff. This one here is the Maritime Incident Recovery Team, Agent Krabs. He's an ATF agent that looks like he could use some personal hygiene tips. And his goal is to try and find all of those firearms that have been lost in the boating accidents over the last few years. So, but it just good stuff. So, they've got a lot of good fun stuff. They just added a couple of new patches that are part of their normal stuff that you guys gotta go check out. I'm not going to tell you what they are, but you gotta go check them out. That's patriotpatch.co. Just some amazing stuff that they keep coming up with over there, Jake and Ryan. So, also, shout out to everybody that sends us texts or leave us a voicemail at 608-467-0308. Greatly appreciate everybody who sends us emails, reloadingpodcast@gmail.com. Huge shout out to our Patreons who help keep this mess rolling week to week.
Send us your questions.
Yeah. Michael Dunn wants to know, will the Russian banning ammo affect us more for reloading? Yes. Because you're going to have all these people that have been buying spam cans of 7.62x54R, and they've been buying the steel case 223 and the steel cased 7.62x39, and now they're going to still want to shoot as much as they have, and they can't. So what do? Oh, well, maybe that reloading thing is a good idea after all. And so just like all the handgun shooters that bought firearms over the last year and a half that couldn't find ammo have jumped onto the reloading train. You're going to have all those shooters jumping on the reloading train. So.
You know, Mike.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do. You're an admin in the group. When we created the group Reloading Podcast on Facebook, it was me, Mike, and 2 or 3 other people. Now we're at over 10,000 members.
Yeah, I mean, at the start of COVID, we were at like $3,000. By the end of May, we had over 10,000 members to the Reloading Podcast group on Facebook. So, I watched what? It's your job to help teach them so they don't.
That's right.
So, I watched what said, but we won't have to put up with them long because they'll end up blowing their faces off. No, it's your job it's your job and my job and Jim's job and Paul's job and Nick's job and Travis's job whenever he gets done playing with his lead supply, and Sharenda's job to teach these people how to not blow their faces off. Because here's what's going to happen, kids. Just like they're trying to ban guns, if people start blowing themselves up loading, they're going to ban reloading. So no, that's a bad idea. So
And
I don't care what you charge them to teach them, but just help them. So, and John's hand loading said so. Primers will soon be $1 each. Yes and no. We still have those 3 companies that are building from the ground up brand new primer manufacturing plants that'll be up and running by at the latest end of first quarter next year. So that's going to help. Will it replace all the primers that were coming in from Russia? Well, they kind of got shut off a couple of years ago, courtesy of Trump, and Biden just kind of finished off what Trump did a couple of years ago. So,
well, there was a big shortage of 7N for a long time. The Russian 5 by 50, 5 by 39 or whatever it was. So
yeah, 545 by 39. I think.
39. There was a big shortage of that.
Finally, they started getting it. Now you can again.
Yeah. And Russian primers I liked for some stuff, but I can't get them. I mean, they were good for they were mild, okay?
Right.
So
I watched what said I missed the Wolf small rifle primers for his using in his Hornets. Yeah, they were nice for that. So I mean, they were a little dirty, but nothing serious, and they weren't corrosive. So
I miss their primers, and we've been doing without and working around. Now it's like, okay, I can get primers. I can't get the primers I really want, but I'll make do.
Well, the other thing that's happening is you have a crowd of reloaders that are doing what Americans do best.
Hoard.
Well, no. Innovate.
Yeah.
So they've taken what a couple of things that are out there, and one of which is 22 long reloader. He's got some stuff out there, but what they've done is they've taken the whole idea of loading your own primers, reloading your own primers, which 5 years ago was absurd. And then Brian Nixon and his group came out with the Primol compound, which it's corrosive, but it gave you an option other than matchsticks. And that came as a byproduct of being able to reload 22 long rifles, which was an absurd idea 10 years ago. But now you've got, if you're not a part of this group, you need to go join it on MeWe. There is a group of guys, and I think there's some girls in there too. But they are working on different compounds to make reliable primer reloading. And they've got some 3D printed jigs so you can put your primers out, spread out the compound and all that fun stuff. It's just amazing what they're coming up with, and how they're just troubleshooting and coming up with ways to get around the problems. So,
well, that's innovation for us, and I've gone on to some of the MeWe sites that I've seen, and some of them are still having issues with ignition.
Yep.
But I mean, most of them aren't being done in a clean room and have the
right. I mean, a lot of it's conditions, and a lot of it's how fast they're doing it versus how slow they're doing it.
Right.
So you can tell the people that are using a hand loading process versus a reloading process.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, I mean, they're coming up with some amazing stuff up there. So, but yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Deal with it. Primers are out there. Delta 338. You just got to keep looking. Check Shields. Check Sportsman's Warehouse. Check your local mom and pops sometimes. I mean, we're starting to we've had small Magnum rifle CCI 450s or whatever they are. We've had them at Cabela's for a month straight. So,
and I'm going to say a lot of you are going to have to stay away from places like Powder Valley and big names
right.
where everybody goes checks and
Yep.
You're just going to have to check the smaller places. There are a lot of smaller places that sell reloading stuff online that you can look into too. It's going to take some work going through the internet, but it's there.
Paul Loud says the best source of small pistol primers used to be 40 short and weak ammunition, but apparently people have been refunded to shooting that caliber again. Oh, sorry, reduced to shooting that caliber again. We actually just at Cabela's, we just got a crap ton of first gen M&P 40s and Gen 4 Glock 22s and 23s in. So, and we're actually getting 40 on a regular basis now. So
that's because folks think that they got to have that 9mm stuff, and they can't get it. Too much demand.
Actually, we've had 9mm self-defense ammo for about a month now too. Good. The target ammo comes and goes, but I mean, consistently we've had hollow points for about a month now in 9mm, and we've had 22 for over a month. So, well, I mean, it's nowhere near the pricing that it was pre-COVID. So, but I mean, it's out there and it's not obscene. We're not talking gun broker prices.
And the first gens M&Ps you're getting in 40 and the Glocks, they're police trade-ins.
Yep.
So you're seeing that a lot of police departments, they have people that can't handle the 40 Smith, short and weak.
Yep.
So they're going to the 9mm.
Which is kind of ironic because the 40 short and weak actually was created because the FBI couldn't handle the 10. So
right.
Yep.
And I can never understand why, because Cooper taught us to shoot a handgun with one hand and use three fingers.
Mm-hmm.
So thumb, trigger finger, and one finger to grip the gun. And if I can grip a 45 and shoot it, a 10mm isn't that much worse.
I love
and
shooting my 40s.
I'm just trying to figure out why people can't handle that.
Because they're used to shooting. It's the same reason why they don't like the 380. It's because they're used to shooting 9s or 45s, which has got that slower build on the recoil impulse, whereas that 380 and the 40 have that sharp spike. So
recoil on the 40 is snappy. I've shot it in 3 or 4 different guns. It's snappy. Train yourself to handle it. That's all.
Right, and that's the thing is people don't want to do it. So 3
fingers. That's all. Cooper taught us to shoot it with 3 fingers. If you can shoot a 45 with 3 fingers, you can handle it in the hand.
Mm-hmm.
And it shows my age.
All right, gang.
Good show, guys.
Yes, indeed. So, yeah, I mean, it's just a matter of practice. Shooting is a perishable skill. The more you practice, the better you get. So, and on that note, gang, keep your brass shiny.
Jump on the mill short bus.
Despite what your mama told you, Grandpa said, violence does solve problems.
Gun control is not about our guns. Gun control is about guns. Gun control is about controlling you and me and everyone else.
Yep.
Support the Second Amendment. Take somebody shooting. Take a new shooter shooting if you possibly can. I know of two particular new shooters that have asked me to take them, and they just keep. I think they're a little bit intimidated by it.
Yep.
But,
Start 'em small,
I
build 'em
intend to
up.
start them with the 22 long rifle on my Ruger Mark II.
There you go. Good night, all.
Good night, all.
Good night.
Might